This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. Two Chinese teams have broken into the top 8, and Fnatic got 2-0'd. What the hell is going on here? And you're going to have to watch to find out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 10 of VALORANT Champions, coming at you live from the Shrine Expo Hall in Los Angeles, California. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here alongside with Mimi and Achilles, who's joined at the desk. And we got a crowd today as well, cheering us as soon as I say my name. Look at that.
Crowd every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Showing up.
People have been showing up
weekday.
Yeah.
Who cares?
You guys have been doing a great job. I want y'all to know this.
Yeah.
Seriously, great job.
And it's going to be a good day for the crowd today because it's the two home teams playing. Of course, BLG and EDG.
Yes. Wait, what? Yeah, okay, never mind then. That actually segues us right into our bracket because we saw the opening of knockouts, which, of course, were quite surprising. You might actually see a green play button on the top there that could be deceiving. Yes, that is loud. They have 2-0'd Fnatic, our Tokyo champions. A lot of people were really wondering whether or not this loud team can show up. They most definitely did. And then PaperX, Achilles, as you saw in real time, were PaperXing all over their opponents.
Yeah, they really were. I mean, a pretty easy breezy matchup there. Yeah, it is now. We're going to make it into one.
I learn something new every day.
I think the most surprising thing, you know, isn't that PaperX come away from that series with a pretty clean 2-0. It's that loud we're able to do it versus Fnatic. Because if you didn't watch the games, it wasn't like it was a very close affair and they narrowly scraped by with that 2-0. They got it very comfortably.
Yeah.
I mean, Fnatic got stomped on the second map after
Fnatic got PaperX'd.
Not losing a series. They did get PaperX.
PRX all over.
Yeah, and after not losing anything all year and being expected to just cleanly sweep champions, that happens. Tournament's already ridiculous.
I may have started a problem with you. This is
I don't think so.
Quite an issue here. But of course, in a little bit though, we're going to see our two matches. We're going to have DRX taking on Bilibili Gaming. And then later on, it's going to be Evil Geniuses versus Edwards Gaming Video Team. It's going to be quite impressive. I'm very excited.
Is that what the LLC is called?
That is actually the official listing of it. I talked to him. It's a long story.
You know Edward?
We go way back.
Really?
First name basis. I know him by Edward. He doesn't know me. In any case, though, we have two Chinese squads on deck today, and you got, of course, an Edward and two Billies. Both great names. They're simple, they're clean, they're elegant, some might say. But I have a question for the panel here today, and dare I say, a question for the house as well. Let's say you got tapped to become the CEO of a new org in China. One problem, you need to make a name. What's it gonna be? Mimi, you're first.
I mean, just first name, descriptor of a group of people. It's that simple. You can do anything.
Okay.
First name that comes to mind for me, Jeff. What's a descriptor of people? We already have gaming, we already have this stuff. Jeff Clan. Simple. Fantastic name.
Wait, is that I remember that player from America's League.
Yeah, that was, they used to play for Loud, but they learned Mandarin and got picked up by Jeff Clan. So
oh, nice.
Exciting
That
boost.
going to have to do pretty soon.
I've never seen that photo of you.
It was a very interesting day.
I'm reeling a little bit from that
taken.
one, but I like it. You know, sticking with just a basic name is good.
Wait.
Edward,
is
Jeff,
That's Jeff.
Okay, because it kind of looks like either Cheech or Chong, and I'm not too certain.
No, that's Jeff.
Okay, that's perfectly
Is
fine.
that a name of a person I should recognize?
Oh, God, Mimi, I forgot you're 20. Anyway, moving on to the next one there. Let's see. Here's mine.
Okay.
So I decided to go in a similar direction.
First name, descriptor of a group of people.
Exactly, but you have to say it. It's Steven Esports, okay? That's it. And this is our logo. I've worked
what
very
part
hard
of
on
this
it.
is your logo?
The whole thing.
The logo is like a 9:16 image.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Riot actually told us that we couldn't make it into our logo, but we just said screw it and made it anyway.
I don't know if that's how that works.
I like
Hello,
your
my name is
Fisher-Price
Steven.
headset that you're rocking in this.
I feel like this was created by like me in like computer lab in like 2009, and I've just discovered kid pics.
How big is my ear?
baby's first headset. That's what this is that you're wearing.
And it's more ridiculous just because I'm bald. In any case, so.
Lorem ipsum.
All right.
Is that your motto?
Yes, it is Lorem ipsum.
What does that mean in Latin?
Oh, it means go get him, Steven.
Okay.
That's what it means. What you got?
I went with something basic, something I think everybody else can get behind, which is just Seth King Gaming.
You named
Seth
it after
King
yourself.
Gaming.
Yes, Seth King Gaming. For short, you could say SK Gaming. I don't think that's ever been
There's
used
a team
before.
already
so
called SK
No,
Gaming.
there's
Oh,
not.
wait, I feel like I
In what?
recognize
In
that
what
logo.
esport? I don't think that doesn't exist. This is a brand new idea. We're going with SK Gaming. We got the nice bright colors, that baby blue with
Also,
the pink.
that's the colors
This
of
is-
the BLG
This
jersey.
is something that everybody can get behind that you've never seen before.
I'm not behind it.
But
This is like, we're going to get sued.
yeah, that's literally SK Gaming's logo, Seth.
No, it's not.
Okay, I mean, you know what?
SK Gaming, they haven't existed since they got backdoored by Expeke, so it doesn't matter anymore.
I don't think that's how copyright works.
Which team is your favorite? Tell us in today's MasterCard fan poll. Is it Jeff Clan, Steven Esports, or Seth King Gaming? Make sure you let us know. Scan the QR code. Do that thing, you know, that the kids do these days. And I don't know why I keep doing this, as if this is like what you're doing. But in any case, so make sure you use those hashtags VALORANT Champions as well as VCT so we can feature your stuff on the broadcast, because they're not called tweets anymore. And that would have been awkward if we put it in the script. Now, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause. And then when we return, Seth and Mimi are going to be seeing eye to eye when we play a fun little game of agree to disagree. We'll be right back.
I already disagree with his branding.
Welcome back to day 10 of VALORANT Champions. Seth is here, and look, guys, I'm going to be honest. I know that whenever Achilleos is on the desk, he's going to want to talk about DRX. Isn't that right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. But before we get into today's first match, I hate you. I want to see.
You didn't even let him talk.
I came here from Korea. Of course I want to talk about DRX.
Silence, okay? Because we have a game to play. It's time for funnies.
All right.
All right. Here's the thing. This test, we're going to get along one way or another in a segment we like to call Agree to Disagree. You may have seen Potter and Busio do this, much to Busio's chagrin. But I'm going to read up some statements. I want our analysts to tell us how they feel. And crowd, you guys can get involved in this as well. All right, so they got signs. It's agree and strongly agree, or disagree and strongly disagree. You guys know the deal. Boom, boom, you know, prop comedy. In any case, so statement one. The Champions LA crowd has been better than Masters Tokyo. Agree or disagree? For the sake of my job, I'm going to say strongly agree.
I don't know.
Wow.
I'm gonna say disagree because
Boo this woman!
you guys can still get better. We
Wait.
still got a lot more to go, guys. Come on.
We have another one. Boo this man! Terrible
The
people.
Japanese crowd wouldn't have booed.
Cheer me because I agree with you.
Don't do that.
Yes.
But the Tokyo crowd was just unbelievable, especially for the
It is.
finals weekend. But I think once we get to the forum here, the NA crowd, I know will compete.
We're going to pop off.
You guys are great. You're just not Japan great yet, you know, but that
Wow.
potential
Boom
is there.
again.
Boom again!
Thank you.
Actually, do me a solid. Boom one more time. Even more
This is
aggressively.
fine. This is fine.
All right.
See, they can't even boo right.
Okay.
That's screwed up. You can't say that.
Statement number dos.
Okay.
I don't know why I said number dos. Kang is the most likable VCT pro. Strongly agree, disagree?
I'm already in there.
Strongly agree?
I'm already in there.
I'm going to go with agree.
Whoa, all right.
I don't think
Disagree.
wait, hold on. I'm not saying he's not likable. I'm just saying he's not the most likable.
Ooh.
Then who is?
Like Redgar, maybe? He's so nice. Even even when he like does silly stuff in the game, he's just so nice.
He is.
Kang like trash talks and he does like the gun thing, which I think is cool. I think he could, if this was the coolest VCT pro, I'd be hitting you with an agree. But most likable, I think he's likable, but
Then
you
you're
know,
just
not in the
getting
same
too
way.
far into the weeds for this game.
I think he's just loved the world over at this point. He's the full package. He's got the showmanship. He's got the highlight plays. He's got the skill. I think for me, most likable.
Crowd, do you guys think he's the most likable? I just see people with
About a
BLG and
50-50.
EDG flags strongly agreeing, and everyone else like, yeah.
All right, here's one that's going to cause some controversy.
Okay.
Evil geniuses are the villains of the VCT. Agree or disagree? Crowd, what do you think?
They're
Yes.
certainly the villains. Because
Things were said.
I'm 50-50. I think
You
they
agree,
I
disagree?
think they want to be the villains, but they're not quite there yet. We
They're
need to
not
see
villainous
more. They
enough.
need to go deeper.
Okay.
Seth, what's their name of the organization? EG, what does that stand for?
Evil geniuses.
They're evil. There we go. That's already in the name. Second of all, my second point is that talking to some of the fans ahead of the show starting today, there was a couple fans of some of the Chinese teams coming in, and they were just preying on the downfall of EG. They were on their hard hater arc. So I think they're pretty villainous at this point because they picked a fight with the Chinese teams for literally no reason.
I'm going to say disagree only because they're good kids.
They're really nice
They're good.
people. I really like all of
I
them.
think they need to go beyond China. They need to disrespect everybody in
That's
order
really-
to really
you want-
be
you
the
wanna
villains.
become a true bad
That's why
guy?
I'm 50-50.
Just be angry at everyone. That's the way to go. All right, next statement. This will be our last one. DRX should start Zest for the remainder of the event.
Yes, strongly agree. If
Strongly
they,
agree.
I mean, look, I love Foxy9, talented player, another one that can just pump out highlights from time to time, but clearly the groove just isn't hit when they have him in. Zest, it's way more comfort for the team overall. I've been saying that they should be doing this for the longest time, and now that they've chosen to do it for the rest of this event, boom, I strongly agree.
That's right.
if they play Foxy9 this event, I'm going to have to step in and talk to Kerwin. I don't know what that means,
Or you're going to
but I'm
step
going to
in
do it.
and go on the stage
No,
and
I'm not
play.
going to play, but I'm going to have a very kind discussion with the players and be like, hey guys, we're
Okay.
trolling a little bit here, and we should just like play a 5-player roster because we actually look really good for the first time in quite a while. So please don't change that. Although he is dominating the rank
He
ladders
is.
right now.
Oh, I
He's
feel
just
bad for
chilling here
everybody
in
who's
LA.
just trying to casually play.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
looked at his like rating and it was just like 10 match MVPs in a row, dropping like 30 kills in Radiant lobbies. I think he's like top 10 now.
I have
so
a feeling he's pretty good at the game.
he's pretty good at the game, but I
Yep.
think at this level, that's not enough to have a fully cohesive team, which I think
Well,
DRX has right now.
I think that was overall a successful game of agree to disagree. What did your agree crowd in chat? I just say things, they cheer. I love them. They're
That's a
great
step
people.
in the right direction.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to some analytical duties here as we talk about our first match of the day. It's DRX versus Bilibili. Mimi is a strongly agree fan of analytics. No fun whatsoever. Now, there have been questions about DRX this year. It's all about Zest, Foxy9, as we were talking about before, but as we noted, they decided to stick with this core. And as you had said, Mimi, it's worked out very, very well for this team so far.
I think the biggest issue with switching back and forth was that they had to go back to their old strat book. They were doing like one stage executes, they were playing their old compositions. They weren't innovating, which has always been, in my opinion, made DRX such a good team. But now that they're just playing with Zest in the mix, they're changing up their comp, they're trying new things, they're evolving comps that they were already running, and the synergy that I think always defined DRX, it feels like it's back for the first time in so long.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things for DRX, I think, having Zest in here is that side calling, not having the heavy reliance on stacks to be the one that's dictating the pace, dictating how they're going to be playing round over round. Zest had a little bit of a stint in the past where he was also shot calling for the team. So having him there, having that side calling, and then opening things up to have a bit more of an open communication style of shot calling, kind of similar to Paper X, not quite as loose as Paper X by any stretch. I think that is a big boon for them, and that's why they've been able to kind of transition and pull off this very different playstyle where they're playing a bit more fast and loose.
And I think what's interesting as well is that it's not necessarily defined by Zest, right? It's his flexibility that helps with it. But I think DRX really just needed to stick to a roster so they could build this new style for them, because Stacks, their coaching staff, the leadership is really good at evolving when they're not set up to fail, as I think they were doing to themselves in Tokyo.
Yeah, there's so much more to discuss about DRX, but for now, though, let's actually send it over to Yinsu, who caught up with Stacks earlier on. Yinsu?
We have DRX in the building. Let me grab Stacks here for a quick word. Hi, Stacks. I know you guys have scrimmed against BLG before, but did you expect them to make playoffs and be this strong? What do you think of them?
Honestly, I'm quite surprised. They don't have the zero experience at the for first international tournament, but we knew that we playing before we come to LA. We know how they good, how they aim mechanically and aim skills quite well. So a little bit surprised, but I think they deserve.
Well, hopefully you can take them down today, right, Stacks?
Always respect for their opponents over on the DRX side. And speaking of respect, I mean, there are a few players that you probably have to respect, more than Mako, I think, for DRX. And that, takes us over to really what has been a great event for this player, Achilleos. It feels like, on top of everything that's been going right for this team, Mako being front and center, stepping up statistically, it just continues to be the icing on the cake for this DRX roster.
I mean, you just don't get a bad tournament from this guy, it would seem. Obviously, Tokyo, a bit of an anomaly for everybody on the squad.
So consistent.
But he just continues to be one of the most consistent, if not the most consistent controllers, one of the highest value players that you could think of. The guy is just absolutely cracked, picks up the operator, it doesn't matter. He used to be a jet main, so of course he can play the op.
Yeah. And I think just saying the most consistent player in the world on that role right now is totally fair. I was a doomer about DRX heading into this event after Tokyo, and I didn't rate this guy. I was thinking about top 20 players. He didn't make it in for like the first time ever for me. And immediately DRX shows up at the event, and Mako is still excellent in the clutches, in the late rounds, as an anchor. Anytime you think this guy might have a tough event, you think that DRX is going to be down and out, he just comes back and puts up the excellent performance that he has at pretty much every single global event he's attended again.
Yeah. I think it's the hair, personally. He said he wasn't, he forgot to cut it. I think he just
I think it's like maybe like the natural talent, the practice, like the dedication to the craft, like the consistency.
Yeah,
the hair.
Grow out the hair.
Girl, it's the hair, 100%.
Why am I not as good as him then?
That's a question that you need to figure out, okay?
Okay.
In any case, so we do have some excellent head-to-head matches today that we're very excited about. Obviously, the easy one to point to is Buzz versus YZ. I think it goes without saying, Mimi, that these two players going up against each other. YZ not necessarily having like the Kong impact that people had expected him to have, but I think that's even unfair to a degree because
I already
he's
disagree with you.
contributing so
Give me
much
my
to this
strongly
team.
disagree sign again.
Here's your strongly disagree. I'm saying what the streets are saying. That's
the
all I'm
streets are saying that. The streets are saying this guy has been excellent for his team, honestly, and he's just been insane. I think one of the things that's impressed me most about BLG is how quickly they react to set this guy up with utility. I think he's one of the most fun players to watch right now, picking the judge and the operator more than rifles, it feels, and it can get a little trolly at times, but overall, I think this guy is excellent. And if you look at the stats, right now he's sitting #1 in ACS out of the event, and you look at the players that he's up there with, Kesnit, Alpha, Depth, the people who have always performed internationally, for this guy's first ever global event, that's insane.
And he's also one of 2 people that's left standing from this graphic because it's just Alpha that's there.
And the upper bracket.
Yeah, so everybody else has departed, but YZ, I agree with you. I mean, the amount of space and just control that he gives to his team off his entries is insane. And I think unlike Buzz, a lot of the times when YZ's going in, he's fragging out of control and he's staying alive during the round, whereas Buzz, more often than not, is going to go in, maybe trades a kill, but gains information for DRX, and then they have to potentially play out a 4v4 or a 4v5 for the rest of the round to be able to get the wins, which they're excellent at doing. But that's a reason why you don't see Buzz, up there in those that top ACS, because he does die quite a bit, whereas YZ just goes in and he takes over.
And I think that is somewhat the contrast in styles between these two teams. BLG's taken a lot of influence from other global teams. They've picked up their comps, their strategies, and I think it's fairly structured compared to a lot of the other teams in China, but they still do put a lot into their star duelists in taking those risks that you don't see as often from this iteration of DRX, which isn't necessarily a good or bad thing for either teams. It's just their difference in style.
Yeah, of course, and that difference in style is obviously going to play, quite the role in this series. But let's move on over to the other side of the stage and talk about Bilibili Gaming. The name's so nice, the team's so nice, they named it twice. See, look at that. It would have been nice if I didn't mess it up. In any case, though,
but you did it twice, so it's like
Mimi,
twice?
not today. So here's the thing. They beat NRG twice, the team that made themselves the rematch kings, and they told them to hold my Heineken 0.0. And it really does feel like Bilibili is hitting a stride that is just been excellent to watch, and honestly quite scary for the rest of the field, because where does this team, where's their cap, you know?
By the way, does this lower third say I believe?
Yes, it did.
That's awful.
I barely caught it, but hey, you know.
It was excellent.
I mean, I do believe in this team. Seth, please tell me about them.
Look, I mean, these guys have been just so impressive throughout this run.
Yeah.
I mean, they came into this event and they say, hey, we're here to learn. You know, it's our first big event. We want to just garner as much information, as much practice as we possibly can during this, and then take that home and get ready for, you know, the Chinese League and whatnot.
Yeah.
They didn't expect to be at this point, and I'm right there with you. What is the new goal? How do these goalposts continue to shift for this team? Is it now like, okay, just if we win, cool. If we don't, whatever. Or are they actually gunning for a top 3 spot? Are they gunning for that championship? Do they have that on their minds now? Or are they just taking this still one step at a time and not having a grandiose idea about where they want to finish?
And it's actually pretty funny that you mentioned that as well, because not only that, but also Bilibili have been just catching strays like all over the place. One of them actually came from Artis. It was that fun little feud that they had going on. And yeah, I think YZ definitely enjoyed getting to deliver this message to his opponent.
我觉得在我们上次打比赛回去之后，首先是我们没有小看对手吧，我们从来没有小看过 NRG， 因为 NRG 呢是我们认为它是一支真的很强的队伍，他们有3个冠军选手来自 Optic， 然后还有明星选手 Som， 还有那个很强的决斗者，虽然我不记得他的名字，但是然后我们输完 Fnatic 之后，我们也是认真复盘，就是备战，然后我们从来没有小看过，我们不会说因为我们赢了他们，我们就觉得他们不行，我们反而就是更加的尊重他，然后下一次更加的付出全力，然后就是在比赛上战胜他。
I must say, after their first match against NRG, to be honest, we definitely feel like they're a super strong team. We put a lot of respect on the team, and also there's so many great players from the team. They got 3 champions, world champions, and also they got the very smart player, Som, and also they got one of the toppest jazz duelists on the world, although I'm not sure what his name is. But still, like after the match against NRG, we still feel they're a very strong team. And also after the game against Fnatic, we made a lot of feedback, and also we feel like we just put more respect on NRG because we never underestimate any single team. We like to try our best to make the full preparations, to try our best to maintain all the good performance to show you guys on stage. So that's the key.
I mean, you know, I think those little bits there, right? I'm sure that, you know, Artis knows my name now. Or, Keith.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. It's a shame he got eliminated.
But
good player.
Here's the thing, you know, that swagger that this team has been carrying with them, it's actually quite infectious, you know, Achilleos, because this squad, they come into this, as you had mentioned, feeling, you know, oh, we're just going to see how far we can go. And now they've made it to bracket play, and they've only continued to get better. And they're popping off, and they're having fun up there.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see. I mean, again, this team coming through, not having expectations, but then just finding themselves in this position to be able to take down NRG twice. And the fact that they were just vibing on the stage the entire time was fantastic to see. These guys, when they find their groove, they can be world beaters. They can just be absolute gods.
Or they can just sit in front of the computer.
Just be stoic.
Oh my. Is this over the course of the whole series?
This is over the entire map that he played.
My guy was glued in.
Yeah, he's wired in.
Yeah, this.
Look, I've never seen someone this focused on any task.
It's like
this is why Bilibili is so good.
Bren when he plays RuneScape and Minecraft simultaneously.
I think that's when they won the map.
There was one fist bump. We got it.
The rest of his teammates going crazy, copping off,
but even
screaming across the stage at Finesse. On the other hand, stoic.
It's just like, all right, yeah, here's a fist bump, take the earbuds out, now I stand up, this is it. Like, there's still just like not even that much celebration. The man is here to complete a task. He's here to win.
A modern Marcus Aurelius. What a legend.
My goodness gracious. I tell you what, this has honestly been a really fun series to just break down and talk about, because these two teams, they really have so much to offer, and we can go on all day long. But good news is we actually do have Yinsu standing by to get a little bit more from BLG, as she's standing by with Yosemite.
Oh, here comes BLG, Yosemite. Let me grab you for a quick word now. Not many people expected you to be here at playoffs. Now you are here. What's next? What's the next goal?
那想问一下我们 Yosemite 选手的是，其实有很多人可能并没有那么看好你们能够进入到淘汰赛的争夺，但是现在你们做到了，所以说你们队伍整个接下来的目标是什么呢？
其实最重要的是还是享受比赛吧，因为其实我的对比赛的胜负看得没有那么重，就是不会被其他因素所影响嘛，就是目标其实就是打好每一回合，然后专注游戏本身，然后就不留遗憾吧。
To be honest, the next goal is still we would like to just enjoy playing on stage. To be honest, we don't like care the result of the matchup that much. We would like to just enjoy playing on the stage, to focus on every single rounds, try our best to do the best on stage and focus on own performance. That's all.
Oh, thank you very much, Yosemite's. 加油, good luck.
That kind of attitude is going to take this team a very, very, very long way, Mimi.
I agree with him. Just thumbs up.
Do you want your
Great
strongly agree? Do you want your strongly agree?
No, I
Here
can
you
just
go.
agree with him. I can just agree with him and
You
just
can
thumbs up. I think that's a really great take. Honestly, though, I love that mentality from this team. They came in, it's about learning, it's about seeing how far they can go. They've already made it out of group stages. There's no reason to add extra pressure to yourself now that you're at this point. Just continue as you've been. Play your best, play your own style, and if you end up losing, take it as a learning moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the perfect mentality to have, and this is kind of the the mystery solved. We're asking the question: how do they feel about this? What are the goals? And it's still just remaining very humble. And I love to see that from these guys. And I think that, in the past, I would come into this series and I'd think like, okay, yeah, this should be a one-sided affair for DRX. I don't think that anymore. VLG have proven that they absolutely can take down the top dogs.
And I mean, in this NRG series, Yosemite, as an individual player, was ridiculous. The stuff he was doing. I was ready to rent the car, drive across California, go to the national park, and enjoy. He's just insane. It's unbelievable the clutches he was winning. So many 1v2s where he couldn't even see players. Just such a vast, beautiful landscape of Valorant.
I like how that's the next segment. Compare anything that Yosemite does to a park.
To a national park.
And then to a national
like
park
Castor
specifically.
Bait.
Yeah, and then see what happens next. But I do agree with that. And Yosemite, of course, could very well have a masterclass series here today. But early on in the show, we tasked Des rather, with naming some new teams. We asked you guys for the vote.
Yes!
I can't believe this. And also, Steven Esports got 27%. Come on, think about Steven.
Oh.
He's so sad.
0.2% stronger than Jeff Clan. You'll love to see it.
Yeah.
Seth greater than Jeff.
SK Gaming lives on.
It never went anywhere, man.
It doesn't. I mean,
still a team.
It never existed until right now.
Oh.
And it did exist. It's already an organization.
No.
It's just not called Seth King Gaming.
They're not in Valorant. They don't exist.
Actually,
Oh, that is actually
I don't
true.
know what the
I
SK
agree.
stands for, so it genuinely could
It stands
mean,
for Seth King.
It could actually mean
Yeah.
literally anything. Well, I guess, that leads us to more funnies, more fun, okay? Because for today's doubleheader, we're going to have to pay very close attention because we're going to be playing some bingo, all right?
Oh, boy.
That's right. Let's go ahead and take a look at our card and see if we can pull this off, because this should be a pretty fun one. So
I didn't realize you were old enough to enjoy bingo.
everyone take a screenshot. Take a screenshot.
Is it apple pie night?
Maybe a little compote,
You're really struggling to explain this one.
Okay.
Could you break down the rule of bingo?
Yeah, Mimi, just look at the thing. Put a X where EG win, ace, you put an X on it, and then you get a line, and then you win. That's bingo.
Operator collateral.
Somebody
BLG
says, how
win.
did that happen?
EG win.
Oh, that actually is more than likely going to take place with
Yeah.
BLG playing today.
It's very possible.
That could definitely occur.
If
a
you
map
get
3.
the bottom row is just like
Ooh.
full, just both Chinese teams are going to win, and we get a Reyna.
Yeah.
Sheriff 3K, Op Collat. Those are the ones that I'm going to be looking forward to.
Yeah. There's an easy one that we can kind of knock out right now. There's one that says crowd chant. Can you guys help me out? Let's get some claps going so we can get this one out of the way. All right, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Crowd chant out of the way. Put the first bingo on there. We did it. See, look at that.
There you go.
That's bingo.
Good work. Good work.
All right.
Definitely didn't
Everyone's
break the
one
game.
step closer.
One step closer, we succeeded. Predictions now. I need to know who you guys think's going to win. Seth, I know where you're going to lean, but
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be DRX, obviously.
Surprise.
Surprise. I think it's going to be DRX. I think in their form right now, they look like a team that can very much deal with the more chaotic style of BLG. I know that they've scrimmed these guys in the past. I know that they have been dealt some trouble in the past as well by BLG. But they're a very strong team. I think that this could be a 2-1.
okay.
I
Mimi?
agree with you, but also, I don't really know who to predict, so I want some help. I'm going to say a word, crowd, and you guys just reply what you think the word after it should be. Jayo! BLG? No? Okay.
Okay.
They failed
No,
me.
thanks.
They deeply failed me. It's normally the...
There
Thank
it
you.
is.
Thank you.
Let's try it again. 3, 2, 1. Jayo!
There we go. There we go. Much better.
You just got to yell.
Yeah.
That's really what it
I'm
feels
more
like.
of
yell
a
enough.
hata guy, you know?
It genuinely helps being Puerto Rican in these instances. All right, guys, here we go. Our coaches are standing by for map selection, so let's get this show on the road. It's DRX versus Bilibili, EG versus EDG. Day 10 of VALORANT Champions starts right now.
They're kind of building a storyline of us as villains.
Half of the community needs them, the other half loves them.
I think it's cool. All esports needs their villains.
So how does it feel being the villain?
Honestly, I don't give a.
这马上了吗？谁？
绕着打的。
不知道吗？1万也不行啊，好像。快啊！
我都可以很友善，但是在赛场上我就要释放出我那一团劲。我不仅是为了我自己，也是为了我的队友。所以说，我在赛场上，我把所有东西都视为。
Even though we do talk a lot of mess online and socials, I think down deep with all of us, we are still like the kids that are playing video games and just having a good time.
我觉得现在大家伙5个人到现在大家也都挺不容易的，然后这次比赛也是，我也感觉到5个兄弟们一条心。
The Chinese region is crazy though. Their playstyle is so like in your face.
I ain't got worries or concern.
希望你们不要像巨人一样，认为我们是一支被高估的队伍。
3, 2, 1, EDG!
그때는 이제 19살에 좀 마음도 여리고 조금 부족한 게 많았던 버즈였는데 지금 되돌아왔을 때 이제 그때 맞았던 매들이나 이제 들었던 소리들이 다 이제 뼈가 되고 살이 되는 느낌이고
모든 팀이 다 힘들 거라고 생각해.
뭔가 다크호스가 좀 있지 않을까.
因为他肯定是要有，作为一名选手是一定要有可以击败对方的信心。如果连这点信心都没有，那就最好不要当选手。我觉得1次可以说是幸运，2次如果也要说成幸运的话，有点太过于就是纯口舌之快了。
저희 팀원들이 제가 보기엔 이번 챔피언스에서 무조건 1등이어가지고 사실 저는 매우 자신 있습니다. 그때는 이제 형들이 저의 버팀목이 되어줬는데 이제는 제가 형들의 버팀목이 되어줄 수도 있다라는 그런 자신감도 생겼고 저는 아주 준비되어 있으면 아주 그냥 어떤 팀이든 만나서 밟아줄 준비가 있습니다.
想对 DRX 说的就是，马上就把你送去败者组和EG真回家的那种。
Higher seed for this matchup is going to be DRX, so you would choose Team A or Team B?
Team B.
Team B, so BLG, you will be Team A. We'll start with your first ban.
Fracture.
Fracture, your ban.
Then Bind.
They banned Bind, and BLG, map number 1.
Lotus.
Lotus, side on Lotus.
Attack.
Attack, and map number 2.
Pick Haven.
Haven, side on Haven.
Defense.
Defense, okay, next set of bans, starting with BLG, you have Ascent, Pearl, and Split.
Split.
Split. So they banned Split, your ban, you have Ascent and Pearl.
Ban Ascent.
Ban Ascent. So map number 3 is going to be Pearl, BLG, side on Pearl.
Defense.
Defense. Okay, let's run back through this. First set of bans, we have BLG with Fracture, DRX with Bind. Map number 1 is Lotus with DRX on attack. Map number 2 is Haven with BLG on defense. Next set of bans are Split and Ascent. Map number 3 Decider is Pearl with BLG on defense. All right, good luck to you both.
Bilibili. DRX.
DRX may be the fan favorite here. They may have dominated Asia for a very long time, but their opponents, Bilibili Gaming, are looking to assert the kings and assert themselves as the new leaders in this region. And let's see how this all boils down as Bilibili and DRX take the stage.
No one thought Bilibili would make it out of groups. No one thought that they would beat NRG once, much less twice. But now they're into the playoffs. They have an opportunity to not just prove that they can make it to a global playoffs, but to maybe go on a run. For DRX, though, they've finally gotten their roster in order. They're back to defining the style, to innovating with new compositions. It feels like the DRX that we've been missing for the last 2 global events.
It really does, but somebody is missing right now here for DRX, worth pointing out, as we didn't see him in the walkout. Mako is playing from isolation. How is that going to affect the team? And the communication isn't going to be as clean, not having him there as that pillar on the stage. We'll have to just wait and see.
But if there's one thing about Mako, it's his consistency. This guy has been a beast at every global event, and he's continued that performance here. In the late rounds, he is constantly saving DRX, even when it looks impossible.
Yeah, that is, of course, the hope here that DRX has, and that a player like Mako, as consistent as they are, they don't have a bad game, but hey, if you force him, if you maybe force his hand in a different direction, Bilibili could very well do that and can create some frustration inside of the DRX camp, Achilles, which would be quite problematic for them in this series. It's an emotional team.
It very well could be, and yeah, they can be emotional. You see Mako there on screen now, but I mean, we've seen time and time again, Stacks on camera getting frustrated when those round losses do come through. If Bilibili are able to whittle away that mentality, it could very much break them and get them a map win.
And simply on the other hand, Billy is gaming. I mean, they're just here. They're having fun. They didn't expect to make it this far. They're trying to learn and make the most of this opportunity. And the veto starts us off on Lotus, which I'm a little surprised by. I expected Bilibili to want to go towards Split. But as we see in the Prime Gaming Agent Select, it's a mirror matchup between these 2 teams. They're both running the Fnatic comp with the Omen variant that has been so popular on this map.
Fascinating to see how this is actually going to play out. Mirror compositions always really just boil down to who's got the better ideas, who's got the out-aiming potentially here. And I think Achilles, as we look at this, I mean, I kind of give the edge a little bit to DRX simply just because of that experience on stage.
Sure, and they've been showing that their Lotus is getting better and better, but again, the big thing for me is it's going to come down to these attacking sides, those raises, Buzz versus YZ, who is going to be able to break through the ranks on the defending side, who can get that entry power, and who can look the strongest.
On this defensive side, I'm watching for Bilibili's Flood retakes. They're really good at comboing their utility and setting YZ up to retake these sites so quickly. We'll have to see if he has another incredible game or if DRX has what it takes to go on another playoff run.
We will see, but we're ready for our first map of the day, so let's get this show on the road and send it over to your casters. It's Doug and Balla.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. The crowd's already fired up, and for good reason, Balla. We've got a matchup where nobody really expected this, and I think a lot of people still don't really know what to expect out of Bilibili.
Yeah, after that 2 series wins in a row against NRG, this team has taken the world by storm, and now in playoffs, this is their first time at an international event, at a global event, and they're in playoffs against one of the most storied teams in DRX at these global events. So consistent over all the years.
You know, the mad thing is, as we think about Bilibili and their run up until this point, is they've already claimed 1 name, right? They've taken down NRG twice, but that is the only team they've beat. Mind you, they also had to dance with Fnatic, and that's really dreadful for almost anybody else playing in the field. But They've done it once. Can they do it again? Starting off on the defensive side, DRX, given all the conversations around compositions, rosters, they finally have settled in, and it seems to be working quite nicely.
And right away on this pistol round, you can see DRX very, very slow, controlled, trying to understand which style of Bilibili they're going to get, because these two teams are familiar with each other. They scrim a lot over in Pacific. And Bilibili can be a team that instantly can frustrate you with the pace that they throw at you, with the weapons they use, they choose.
It's just so difficult to prep against. We saw how it cost fits against NRG in the past. Can DRX handle it just a bit better? Slow start to the round. They're all leaning towards A. The turret, making sure there's no flame.
And despite DRX, or Bilibili, getting forced back into this A site right now, DRX has done it with no util at all. Only the cycling of that Viper wall, and that denies so much info for Bilibili. They just walked past the one-way at the perfect time, took all that space, and it's caused 4 people to be over here. Rin, first target, and he knows now that it's going to be towards this C site. He saw the fade.
He's seeing all the rotations coming through for the defensive side. It's really just K-Knight who's waiting. As you see the dump of utility, the nanos, the nade on the other side, they're going to get vulnerable if they try to push through that smoke. And they're going to walk right into Rin's crosshair. 28 HP still alive though. The spike hasn't made its way out. There are only 10 seconds left. The turret's going to provide a little bit of cover, but it's dropped. I don't know that they're going to make it out. It's going to be a flood out onto the site. And there are a couple of members already close by. YZ takes care of Buzz. I don't know that the spike is going to go down in time. Just barely does. But all of DRX drop.
And despite the early success, I would say, from DRX there, succumbing to indecision in the final moments of the pistol round. We saw how effective and important these rounds were yesterday. And now again, Bilibili. I mean, great job from them. By the way, that KJ, Molly, and the Viper Orb, full fuel for them to be able to keep that up. Completely denies DRX from actually entering in. Big mistake there from DRX.
Just one round in, we're already seeing Stacks put his face in his hands. But, you know, the Death was talking about how emotional a team it can be and how that often is one of the keys to their success. So we'll see how things continue to play out. DRX not opting to buy very much into this. You got a Sheriff in the hands of RB, a Ghost for Stacks, and Mako, and then just Classics the rest of the way.
I like that from Zest, though, looking early to break the haunt. That gets thrown out from Bianc. Doesn't actually come in that direction, and now he just has to play for the space spot. He can get punished here if they just follow up. There's only one player nearby.
RB's coming by to help.
It's a good cross. You can't really push much more into that if you're Bilibili without extra support or util. Not knowing what could peek you from the C side either. There's a triple possible.
Here.
So many things to consider, but DRX taking the space that's been given to them, starting lean towards C, and look at Rin just on the other side of the smoke.
There, actually, the smoke that K-Knight is throwing down is a lot of a gap into that site. That's why DRX uses it to look to break mollies. But Rin is playing an off angle into his molly for it. So anybody who comes through is just going to get barrel stuff. That's really nicely done. Good details there from Bilibili.
It's so difficult. It's clean, and it's an ace from Rin. BLG already riding the high. And you see just how oppressive that Killjoy and Viper combo can be on C when you're trying to play through that. You've got you've got nanos at your feet. You've got Viper spits too. You've got to try to funnel out with. It's so difficult.
Yeah, it's a very basic, simple details here that lead to this. Then masterful shots from Rin, and for me, Bilibili in their entire roster, Rin against NRG was the guy who was keeping that game even close in terms of mistakes that he was making, but they're just the fundamentals coming through on that KJ. Phenomenal stuff from him.
Really nice opportunity here for BLG if they're able to convert this round to set up very nice financially. Once again, this triple push towards A main. A lot of presence here. Oh, this time there's a paranoia wrinkled in. They're going to push him right off that angle.
A lot of times this could force these attackers to go really, really fast into the C side or the B side, react into it.
Sure.
But Bilibili is trying to bait that sort of reaction out, and DRX is having none of it. Still wanting to go slow. Nanostorm pop to try to break the alarm bot, but YZ is here to defend.
I mean, he's more than here. He's starting to push up a little bit forward,
look at
too.
it go.
RB, are you aware that turret's going to help?
They've already broken all the KJ setup right now. Sure, the turret's on a cooldown, can come back at the end of the round, but alarm bot from RB pressured, and that's making Stacks have to spend prowlers on the other side of the map when they need him for this execute.
Once again, heading back towards C. They've only cleared one of the nanos, and there it is again. It's so difficult to get through. This Buzz is melted. No entry into the site. And then you've got the molly out from Yosemite. This is just so clean from Bilibili. DRX not finding any room to breathe, any space to work. And it's another disaster. The bonus in full effect for BLG.
They're getting choked out here on this C side, and that's 3 attempts now at it. You've got to start recognizing you need more pressure on that side early in order to get some of that fuel down, in order to get that molly down. Funny enough, the goals that DRX is having right now to break some of that util from the KJ on B side, actually Bilibili on the defense is having more success with. It's really nice game plan out of these two teams.
I mean, it certainly helps when you only have one member on your team that's died. Rin is 9-0 right now. A clean bill of health for almost everyone else.
Fast push now for DRX on this eco. Remember, they lost that bonus, so huge cascade of rounds possible here from Bilibili. But taking this A control is normally a goal for a lot of teams very early, but I think that fear that it felt like they were playing with in the first 2 rounds, at least what they decided on for their own game plan, is limiting them in this access.
Oh, this is so aggressive. There's not a lot of, oh, there was a little bit of help. I didn't see K-Knight there, but the Sheriffs from DRX keeping him down for now.
Now that's important here for Bianca to actually try to defend these weapons, and with that Viper wall up, he can do nothing for it. Just gonna try to use the timing right there to see if he can catch somebody going for it late.
He's got a haunt. I mean, still full utility.
There's a push coming from the door too, Yosemite.
They've got a
They're
nice,
gonna double peek.
Yep, they've got a nice pinch here. Only one weapon has been upgraded so far, and that instantly finds value, but the timing from Bianca's gorgeous! All 3 fall as BLG get another!
And it's the first real success from DRX, instantly snuffed out.
Whoa.
And a timeout because of it too. Yeah, you gotta get on the same page here.
That's huge.
Because think about this on the other side. Bilibili is completely on the same page. You see Bianca getting these kills, but at the same time too, you had Yosemite coming in through the breakable door, and Rin was involved as well. All 3 players alive. Getting involved in that final fight. Beautiful stuff. Just consistently have to commend these guys over and over for the level of Valorant that they are showing. Despite sometimes, and I know a lot of people trying to criticize them in that NRG game for looking a little chaotic, looking like they're relying on the whimsy and not their fundamentals, but in my mind, this team has shown so many different levels of their ability.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of depth to how they play, but then also, I mean, I think it's a fair question that has to be asked at this point. While I know it's early, if the whimsy works, and if the whimsy consistently works, and you have depth to other things in your game plan that allow you to play with a little bit of whimsy and know you can still throw curveballs at what's on the other side of the stage, I mean, why not?
Yeah, 100%. And right now, it's just full depth, and that's causing DRX. I mean, they need to think about how to approach this a little bit better. That C site needs to be pressured a lot more. They need to get that util out from Rin. They need to potentially even rotate him off of that site. And then they need to be decisive when they're hitting. Try to get in those timings when that fuel is low from Yosemite.
A 10-0 start for Rin. A Killjoy's dream, to be honest.
Just so good. And now they have to deal with YZ's op coming online. Aggressive already against Buzz here.
He's so far ahead.
Should have heard the TP.
He's so far ahead. The Prowler in his face. He's got to try to get away. Manages to survive without taking any damages. You see a second one come through as he tucks behind, tries to land the shot, but Buzz from up top with the nade is just too much.
And important here, Rin does not have a second molly. Must have used it to try to get YZ in position.
He does have a lockdown though. And honestly, with the way he's been playing, he might be all right anyway. DRX still feeling some of the pressure. They've got what they wanted. They took down the op. They took down YZ. They want to flip the map.
And they do have Buzz as showstopper now. His rocket could help take a lot of space here, but with Yosemite and Bianca, needs to be well considered.
They've got to be careful, though. I think if they push Yosemite here, there's not much room for him to help. He's got to play his life very dangerously, or he just pushes forward, gets haunted, and gets a kill onto Stacks.
C's comes in to delay as well, so DRX still not making their way in through main. They're going into Rin.
Oh, right back into Rin, you're right. Rin finally dying at the hands of Buzz. The B side open, the spike planted, and DRX in control for what feels like the first time, really, all map. K-Knight pushing forward, Buzz with 3 on the round, looking for the 4th. Yosemite on the counter, though, as they're going to claw their way back into this thing. Mako's left alone in a 1v2. Has to make something happen in a situation like this. It's been dire, it's been ugly, and it's not getting any better. Yosemite gets a 3rd as BLG gets a 5.
Where is DRX right now? That was a 1 round. When they started hitting that B side, it felt like a 1 round. And then all of a sudden it turns so fast. They got their first kill on YZ. They got success in terms of map control. Just the final hurdle, they don't use that ult. They don't use the tools that they had in that to be able to push through. And they're again, Bilibili is causing fits with all the util. Everything is precise, perfect.
I got their omen.
That C's delayed for so long, for Yosemite to stay alive for so long, and that actually caused them to pivot into the B site where, again, you have players ready for it.
Precise, perfect, and honestly problematic for DRX. And all the questions about, well, maybe it was just, you know, whimsy, as you were saying against NRG. Can they do it here? You're right, Ball. They're showing a different flavor of Valorant towards DRX, and they don't like how it tastes.
No, in the first series against NRG, it was Judge. That was the story. It was like, oh my God, why is he just crazy with the Judge, tilting the other team? In their second series, not at all. There's very little elements of that in terms of the clutches. Sure, it was tilting, but that was it. Here comes Buzz.
It's a different path, but YZ gets to kill himself. What the heck happened there? YZ already with 2. The spike out of reach. The round is done. I don't know how they get into this.
It's a nookie dodge up high. Buzz was so high too. Couldn't get a hold on that rocket.
YZ's gotten 3 on the round. Perhaps another ace on the cards. YZ with 4. The ace on the other side, and it delivers once more.
2 rounds out of 6. We've had aces by Bilibili and 0 rounds for DRX thus far. If you wanted a bloodbath, you got it. This Lotus is looking phenomenal from Bilibili right now. Looking like nothing can stop them. Looking like multiple players can step up at any point.
What do DRX do from here? The buy is less than ideal. A Guardian and a Bulldog for Zest. And then just pistols. They have failed to find success with some of their ultimates. I think again about Buzz's previous round and how YZ got the best of him, but this time not the case.
They've gotten first kills on these eco rounds before, but nothing to be able to capitalize on anything here. YZ again falling, but this time the gun way deep. Very safe. They're not going to be able to recover it. They're going to have to use what they have. And that's a lot of space, a lot of control. They're still behind the Viper wall, sure, but lockdown. There's tools here still. And RB potentially could get a really late lurk if they do opt to go into this A side.
I think the question too is how patient is Ren? As Bianc falls on the opposite side of the map, you feel the rotations having to come through. Knight's in a really good spot, and of course, K-Knight gets 2. Repositioning on the 3rd. Not able to land, but Yosemite does.
30 seconds
They've
left.
somehow gotten this back to a 2v2. I don't understand. I don't understand how they're going to do it again. It just makes no sense.
And once again, DRX scratching their heads. 2 early kills. This is a knife the wall. He only has a sheriff. He has to die here. He already has his lockdown. So honestly, the Bilibili players might keep him alive.
That's just more fun. That's just more fun. Yosemite with 3, DRX still fat goose egg on the scoreboard.
This is crazy. And we are entering this series in another situation where people are still doubting Bilibili. Yes, they've only played against one team in NRG and got success against them. But here they are against the doubters, 7-0 up right now. Unfathomable.
And a furrowed brow for the IGL of DRX is he's the one who has to figure out what the heck do they do in the face of this. They have 4 ultimates to work with this time. Maybe that's the key.
It's a tough decision too. Like at this point, you probably want to start thinking about a second timeout before this gets completely out of hand.
Is it not already? Because, I mean, if you invest that here, you're dry the rest of the map. Termi has already called one.
Face your fear!
Nightfall through, Buzz satcheling forward. They've created some space. What do they do with it? You see K-Knight is already ulted to join the defenses of Bilibili. They're already all here.
This might be the first plant of the game for DRX right now.
Yeah, you may be right. Or maybe the pistol where
the pistol where they barely got it. Felt like the round was already over. This time, plenty of tools. The lockdown, they've got the pit too if they need to. Won't invest it here.
Note here, Bianca 1 point away from having the Nightfall. But Mako, from a distance, keeping them back. At least attempting to. YZ detained. He's got to take a step back. You see the pit now in play. K-Knight pushing forward, trying to find anything that he can claim. Really, nothing's going to be found, but they brought enough time for him to get back online. Bianca's going to be on the tap. Stacks dropping him first. And nothing going to happen. I thought for a moment maybe they get to half and something happens, but DRX finally cauterize the bleeding and get on the board.
All it took there was a fast round, and Rin gives up that C site.
Well, it took a fast round. It took, what, 3 ultimates?
Yes.
4 ultimates, something like that?
Absolutely.
And
but in terms of the early success, being able to get on site, which is where they've struggled so much.
Yeah, I think the other thing we have to consider here is it was a different defensive setup from Rin. He didn't have his typical Molly setup and Nano setup that we'd seen in the previous rounds.
Yeah.
So Buzz was able to satchel out and create some space.
I think a big wow, a timeout from Bilibili. Up 7-1. But I think the reason for that is because he's had such success, you can start to cheat. You can start to do things that get you extra value elsewhere.
Yeah.
And for Rin, he might have been thinking the B side. I'm not exactly sure where his setup was, but either way, DRX is able to capitalize, and now they start to have to deal with the same things that they were all series long so far. 7-1 again. Mind blown. This is a team that is stepping onto the global stage for the first time, stepping into the global playoff stage for the first time. And they're doing this. It's about time we stop doubting.
Perhaps that one round and the cheers from the crowd is enough for DRX to make a run at this. It's been an abysmal start for them so far on Lotus. But somehow, through the disaster, there's an opportunity to stabilize and convert. Or not. Rin is just on a heater, man.
He's been so good. They're going to try to go fast in it again. Nade lands on him, but this time he gets the early kill, so if he falls off, oh!
Another Molly kill.
They're both traded there.
They finally both fall, and this time the rotations are a little late, but it's not because they weren't proactive. It's because they're flanking through spawn.
I don't think that turret was up right now, so this double flank could be huge.
The Nightfall, funneling them right into BLG's lap once more. YZ with the showstopper connects onto Buzz. The 3K and the 8th for Bilibili.
It's perfect right away. Out of Bilibili. They follow up on what was successful for DRX, and they figure out, let's just push this A site instantly. And when you start to get those kills coming in from Rin, when you start to get that Molly traded, yes, it's a 3v3 once you get the site, but that forces RB to come on over and give up the turret. Nightfall pushes them into the flank. It's just beautiful. Once again, such a strong response. Out of that timeout and effective right away, too. They might not need a second one. I love the fact that they called it here in this first half to just try to really push that knife in.
And the potential here for the twist of that to be their demise. A judge for Buzz this time around, and a heavy lean towards C once more.
And don't forget, because they won a round, they reset the loss bonus, so this becomes a very impactful round for DRX. They kind of have to win.
He's already gone his way out. The judge is not finding any value. Yosemite staying alive long enough to drop that molly and getting a kill onto Mako. I mean, that was a little aggressive by Rin there. But a 3v3 for the rest of the round. Two members still rotating over. Bianca a bit of pressure.
Double flank again through the door this time, and it comes really fast.
That
I don't think
nade
RB
is deep.
expected it.
No, he's so dead. But Zest on the counter, a 2v2. BLG trying to retake the site.
Oh, the satchel.
He's gotten his way through, and YZ with 3.
What is going on? Why is he just satcheled his own teammate there, gets up top, and gets the kills? It's like he baited his own teammate forward. And they're just destroying. He's asking what the heck is going on himself. This guy is destroying. He had already the highest ACS in the entire tournament. Second highest ADR, first among the players who are still playing. And here again, 15-3, it's gotta be up there for another just disgusting game.
And you effectively create a high-low, and even then, you see it. YZ was essentially isolated in that 1v2. Question marks. Question marks all over the place. There's always a Cinderella Balla. It always seems like there's a Cinderella, and this one seems to be fit to the size of BLG. That Slipper fitting quite nicely as they're up 8 rounds against DRX. A team that looked revitalized, a team that looked reinvigorated.
And they're getting so much value out of any of these A pushes. At this point, DRX has to start getting ready for dealing with the follow-up flanks that come despite getting some success on pushing into that C site. Finally, we're having some satchels early to try to break it. There, it broke both. Letting it stay alive for max damage. On the radius, and YZ, we've seen this before. The turret did spoil the fun for him on this flank. The turret's down.
No way, I mean, no way.
What timing? Why is it that RB is the guy going so far here to break this door, knowing that he needs to keep that util up? It's like he's trying to make a play while the rest of them are following up behind his play, his idea. Door broken.
YZ, who's already found value on one, looking for the second is Bianca, and the rest of BLG try to hold A. And my goodness, once more, nothing for RB to do. When you're running 1v5 at the end of the round like that, I mean, what options do you have?
And you saw the traded flashes there. Both Omens using their paranoia, and I really think that it's fitting because Bilibili is abusing DRX's paranoia here in terms of what could happen, in terms of the fact that this is such a devastating scoreline. DRX on the precipice of a massive first map loss here. We're about to enter halftime, but we're also already, maybe it's starting to declare this game is over right now.
I mean, we're close with it. We're flirting with it for sure.
11-1 would just be disgusting. Would be our biggest half of this tournament.
Just one round. Really the only thing keeping Bilibili from a perfect half. Against DRX, no less. Again, I can't stress the importance of that. DRX looks so good. They went through the gauntlet that was Group D. And people thought, well, Bilibili, yeah, maybe they got the best of NRG, but surely they can't do it again, right?
Oh my goodness, they used the showstopper to clear mound and not to actually execute on the site. Oh, and it gets a kill anyways. That's not supposed to happen.
No.
Why is he again? He's gonna respond. Whoa.
Oh, that was a little aggressive. That was a little bold. Somehow stays alive. You see 2 haymakers shot out. BLG, the attempt at a knockout punch, and for DRX, the attempt to just get back into this thing to give themselves a fighting chance. DRX, a 5v2 to close out the half.
30 seconds left.
Surely it doesn't happen like this, right? Surely it doesn't happen like this. Bianca's already gotten 2. YZ in a 1v3. Make that a 1v2. The timing is not great as DRX finally get a second.
A ridiculous half nonetheless, though, from Bilibili. That is dominant, 10-2. How can you even think of responding here from DRX? How do you get your mind right? Going into not only the next map, but the next half. This is just a stomp.
I mean, the next half, when you consider the attacking side of Lotus, should be a little bit more favored here. But we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. We'll see if they can pull it back together. A 10-2 lead in favor of Bilibili. Golden Boy on the desk to break down that first half.
Thank you so much, fellas, and I think we'll just go straight into our Verizon high-speed moment. It's, of course, YZ's ace in round number 6. What a play. And also, just in general, Mimi, this BLG team, they're here to cook. They are frying.
BLG, I think their reactions across this entire map were so good. On all of these retakes, YZ was going absolutely insane. I mean, the reaction time to satchel above the opponent's ultimate, pull out his own ult to counter it, then throw the nade on the fly and find the perfect gap to take a kill. The team is playing well. They're setting YZ up excellently, and his mechanics are just ridiculous right now, Seth.
Yeah, he's just putting on an absolute clinic here when it comes down to this race, especially his movement has just been absolutely gorgeous. His rifling completely on point, and he has just been blowing them out of the water.
Yeah, it's scary. Like, this isn't even... Like, this is not what I had expected coming into today.
I mean, DRX, they just look so different than what we expected in group stage. I mean, to be fair, they're playing against an almost 400 ACS raised player.
He
was already statistically the best player in the event, and he's putting up halves like this.
And it's the defending side. Which 2 rounds on the attack for DRX. That's an all-time low for them, I believe. Maybe when they played against Paper X in the Pacific Final, maybe it was worse, but this is not a good look at all.
For context, you're normally looking for like 4 or 5 rounds. This is a solid Lotus defense. It's insane. And DRX honestly look boomed right now. Slowing down so many of these rounds, running out of time, fumbling the mid rounds. It is so unlike the DRX of group stage. It feels like BLG is stepping up at the perfect time.
I mean, the 2 times that we saw DRX play this map at this tournament was a 6-6 and a 7-5 start on the attacking side. 2 rounds, not going to cut it. This looks like it's over.
Yeah, this is a rough one. DRX are going to need to climb a mountain. Let's see if they can do it or if it's over right here.
That mountain looks massive, Golden Boy. I'm not going to lie to you. BLG with an 8-round lead. Complete slaughter. They're having fun with it, too.
Hopefully they can continue to get smiles on their face, because Bilibili now on this attack side to close out, and they already got just an Omen TP across. That was silent. I don't think they heard it. I don't think they heard it.
They have no idea. Dude, K-Knight only finding 1, but the damage is done.
And that's the problem with trying to slow walk, take that control as a defense. You don't end up hearing the TP. Either way, traded back, and they've actually got a really nice pinch here. That alarm bot still will be up from RB while they go for this push into it.
They've effectively funneled them into B. The thing is, there's really no contain
and
on the spawn side of things.
The A players are not reacting to this. They should either try to take control of A main or rotate back to start a pinch going, and the timing could not be worse.
I mean, Yosemite's going to pinch him behind him. They're going to try to funnel their way out through panel.
Big nade.
There's a lot of trouble here for DRX, as once again, they have no idea of what's waiting on the other side.
And the fact that it's been quiet their entire time signals to everybody else exactly what's going on. Nobody coming through heaven, nobody else through A main. Oh, maybe not. Mistake there from YZ.
Yeah, numbers still in favor of the attack side, though. Now we've equalized. Rain is weak, 37 HP. The spam out from Mako into the smokes. They're going to have to pop their way out because RB's already gotten it 3/4 of the way. He gets it to half, finishes the job, and gets DRX the pistol.
Bilibili for the first time in my mind showing the first sign of inexperience there. Not really putting the clues together. Even though that flank was just perfect by Yosemite. Perfect by K-Knight in the first place to get that first opener. And then the situation that DRX went for was, again, ideal in terms of handling that post plant, but just really thinking somebody was coming through waterfall. Now Bilibili down to pistols.
5 Bulldogs on the defensive side. Surely you favor DRX in this round. as Bilibili have gone exploring a little bit, a 1-3-1, and they fully make their way out. I mean, the spike is in the hands of YZ, and he satchels forward. He gets the spike down, and he somehow gets away.
Wow. And already success. He's gotten 2 orbs in this round. Rin got the other one.
Hey,
and the plant.
You've got to be careful here. That nade is going to cause some problems, but oh, Buzz is just going to sink it. Never mind. He just holds it the whole way. I thought the nade was on.
And in this situation, the attackers don't need to go down. So economically, they're still going to be okay. Despite my heart beating for a second there while I saw all of them stay alive. It's okay. And again, I think that's a success for Bilibili. Not only denying the kills from DRX there, but getting 2 orbs for YZ, the plant and the B orb, and then as well, getting that C orb for Rin. They're thriving in this case, and this is it. Big opportunity for them to close out this game. They win this anti-bonus. DRX, while they won't be out, you start to get those power ults. That becomes the win condition.
DRX just dumped so much utility towards A main there to effectively draw a line in the sand and not let him through. And I like that they're keeping some of this space as well.
That spray, the jump spot, Mako confirms there's nothing actually through, which means Bilibili needs to go for a second approach here. Plan B, rotate back towards C.
Second to clear some of the util, yeah. It at least drops the alarm bot. The nano mid is still there.
And that makes it hard. You can't play passive on B anymore. They're still looking for this, spamming down.
I mean, they just invested a prowler towards mid because of that.
And that's 50 seconds. They've gotten almost all the really impactful util down from the KJ. With this smoke, they can continue to look for picks inside the C site. They don't have to commit through this.
He's far up here.
Here's the freeze.
Zez creeping forward. K-Knight there as well. You see it just a little bit of geometry keeping the 2 players apart.
30 seconds left.
The timing on this is everything. That sees to swing out, but Zez somehow getting 2. Seems like it might be bonus back, but YZ with the counter punch. Yosemite with another in control for BLG.
YZ got his nade back too, so allows for this plant to go in, but it's a safe plant. They cannot commit to playing post plant from Mound.
They may not want to. Buzz and Mako, what do you do? A divided attempt at taking the site back as they approach it from 2 fronts. Rin tucked in the corner. Do you check it? Yes, you do. Even crouch, nothing converted. Yosemite's gonna have to do it by himself. Let's get down to a 1v1. Time on Yosemite's side is Mako playing swing around the Rosie, trying to find the timing. No idea what's on the other side, and Mako reads it well.
Huge bonus for DRX, and all of a sudden, we're within 5. And there's a big chance here for them to start snowballing themselves, start to have a half similar to Bilibili. And you don't get into that period where it starts to become thinking about these win conditions for Bilibili being easy to get, easy to achieve. No. Keeping them from 11 is super important, while this lead is still so big. Because again, you think about what Bilibili have in the tool bag to end this. If it was 2 rounds, you just need 2 rounds of massive ults.
Right.
And as time continues, that's what DRX is really banking on. They cannot lose a round for the next couple.
I mean, they're still intent on pushing a lot of this aggression towards A main.
Whoa, that's fast. Good reaction from Bilibili. Instantly just pushing on the other side while they lose the other 2.
The paranoia in the nade, it's so good! Why is he getting one with the ult? And now the Prowler to push them back even further.
This is the problem here. K-Knight doesn't have the smoke. They're going to try to push it again.
Trying to check both corners. And RB dismisses K-Knight. What else can they find? YZ and Bianchi here left in this 2v4. You see Buzz trying to satchel his way forward. YZ's gotten 1, but it's been traded back. YZ by himself, having to reload and reposition with the Hawn in his lap, and the pressure overwhelming of 3 members of DRX facing you down on the other side.
No way.
A desperate attempt to try to land shots that should not be connecting, and they don't.
Once again, really nice from DRX. Maintaining this safe distance. Keeping Bilibili away from that all-important match point. And again, we're now talking about 4 rounds. This is very much in the realm of possibility with how few we play. Big ult starting to accrue for DRX too. Notably, that showstopper was saved in a situation we thought they were going to use it. And DRX's approach here on this A side is so important, crucial for them to continue maintaining this when Bilibili wants to work the entirety of the map. We've seen it before, we saw it in the last round, them attempt that. And if they can get success in getting kills as well, that pushes Bilibili. A lot of times their reaction is super fast to try to maintain that advantage.
I mean, in a lot of ways, this feels somewhat reminiscent to what we saw in the first half in how the defense is playing it. They're so aggressive towards A main, and they put the onus on the attacking side. So either, I mean, if you want to go C, sure, by all means, but you're going to have to deal with the Killjoy utility and the Viper utility, or you try to go mid and you risk getting pinched.
Big difference here. As they actually tried to pressure that Prowler, does not catch Mako. He's making noise anyways. They're going to try to fight for this. DRX sticking around.
This is big out for Mako. What a snap onto YZ.
A great protocol there. That nade clears the player's A main.
He was ahead of that. Stack still wise to it. Nicely handled. Aware of the threat, aware of the danger.
30 seconds left.
Do they funnel out behind that Molly? Buzz with the ult, and that connects onto Bianca. And that was the spike. The Buzz has been so crispy these last few rounds.
And that's it. Spike down across the way, past the wall. You're right, Buzz is stepping up. In the group stage, they didn't really need a massive performance out of Buzz, the one that we love, the one that we see all the time at these global events. There's really Stacks, RB, those guys were consistent. Zest putting in a lot of work in crucial rounds. And there it is, timeout from Bilibili. Surprisingly, it's them using their second ahead of DRX here. DRX still has one available.
I mean, we had questions around whether or not DRX would burn both in the first half.
Yeah, I thought they should have.
Yeah. But Termi continues to handle the situation quite nicely. As you're right, Bilibili now out of timeouts for the rest of this half. They still hang on to a 3-round lead, but it's been all DRX.
This is crazy. I mean, I'm already in that territory where I think this is a very real possibility here for DRX.
Yeah, I would agree with you completely.
5 in a row. There's nothing to sneeze at. Getting that last one so important. And while I still think Bilibili is playing well, especially how they're dealing with that C aggression, or not aggression, that C setup that was such a problem for DRX.
Yep.
They're walking in there, breaking the mollies, satcheling them down, and then throwing a smoke that makes it so difficult for RB to play around. I think those are the things that they're talking about within this timeout right now, how to really use that to their advantage. I would not be surprised to see them to go right into that and go for a 5 walk-in. Remember, the one round that looked like they almost would win that was when they ended up going into C site, breaking that util, tapping the door twice, freezing, and then going for another A or C execute when they had space already within the site. Didn't work though. But similar concepts can be applied. The other thing they could do is challenge this A execute that's constantly coming out from DRX, try to punish it with a molly over top, nades going back, prowlers coming through. Remember, Mako and Buzz stayed for so long in that last round. If that util came through, then all of a sudden, you would have had something different. This time, you do have difference from DRX. And Bilibili pouncing immediately. They didn't see that. They only saw Paranoia. They didn't see a nade, anything else, no molly coming out from the side of Zest. So they just walk out. And there's 3 hero rifles here. Even a buy down to 600 from Rin. Whoa, all the way.
They've created so much space. Behind all that utility, look at everything gets dumped. The Nightfall, the pit.
Mako got traded too in door. He got a kill. And if he stayed alive there, all of a sudden you have a 3-way pinch and retake under this pit, which is very devastating. But instead, you have control of door. It's planted for the spam. All they have to do is hold off RB.
RB's on the flank, and I don't know that the turret didn't see him.
He has a lockdown now too. Not one that you could really use effectively, but if he gets in this corner and posts it, you have to have a response from Bilibili.
I mean, there's nowhere else for Bilibili to
He put a
go.
lock
Oh,
on.
this is so well handled. Look at K-Knight understanding the pressure, repositions, tries to find some space to work behind it, and he gets a kill on RB. Buzz falls as well, but K not able to do anything more. Bianc and Stax in a 1v1. He's got to give up the space to see he's not going to connect. Stax has already got it to half. Pulls off, and the snaps from Stax is good! What a clutch! What a round for DRX!
The pre-fire is so good under pressure there from Stax. Hits the Red Bull clutch. Look at this. Key moment there, K-Knight trying to break that lockdown, instead dueling with Stax, and that forces Bianc to go all the way back into drop and forces the rush in. That's why Stax is going for half, knows that he has to really run to stop that defuse. No mind games player play it at all, either side. Oh, look at this. Buzz not on this A side at all. Instead, DRX making it look like they're going for one of those setups. And he's on the C side. Switching that up could really make things dangerous for Bilibili if they go for any sort of C pressure.
For Bilibili, we mentioned that they had 3 rifles in the previous round. Because of how they managed their money, they still have enough to buy in the light armor on 4. We'll see what they can do with it. It was a costly investment in the previous round. They dumped, what, 2 ults into that? They still have the lockdown from Marin. And again, we're seeing some of the protocols that we've seen to open the round, the satchels to clear out the Killjoy utility. But this time, they're committing. They invest the lockdown, they dump the nade, but Buzz again!
The break that, yeah, broke it!
It was that easy!
Yeah, that's the reason Buzz is over here.
Not only does he clear out the lockdown, but he gets a kill with it.
Oh, he picked up the gun instead of the spike.
That's the wrong package. It's not what you were looking for. Kana, though, managing to avoid disaster, scooping up the spike. And now setting eyes forward. See that satchel through. Bianca's gotten some space.
Great season. They've confirmed the hit is still going to be on the C side. Nobody tapping the door.
Buzz in a position to find more value. Just one daring to challenge across the corner, and it is YZ. Yosemite on the trade, 13 seconds left, the spike's still not planted, and DRX still clawing for control. There's no way K-Net pulls this off, right? This would be a 1v3. Mako's going fast with it. Oh, he decides to take the fight, but there was still so much to do. Mako cleans him up anyway as DRX get within 1.
And so far, it's a flawless half from DRX. Right now, looking for the comeback of champs so far from a 10-2 half to within 1. How has this happened? And I have to say, Doug, I feel like Bilibili's still playing a lot of these situations correctly. But DRX playing them even better. That nade to break the lockdown, it's so good preemptively.
Oh, he's ahead of this. He's cheeky with it. Takes a good bit of damage though and stays alive.
And the moment you've been waiting for too from YZ, the judge is back in his hands. He's gonna get up close and personal.
No satchels left. 1 kill away, 1 orb away from having Showstopper online. As they dare to continue to challenge Buzz in that cross once more. And this time it's the 2nd time he gets the kill. They did get the spike down. Mako expecting some of the pressure out from Marin on the flank. Reads him like a book.
This is still dangerous. Time is ticking right now.
3v5, what do they have to delay?
Can they get this gun? Yes.
That's big.
That's the 2nd gun now being able to be picked up by Bianc, and YZ can get out.
It actually went into YZ's hands. But Zest has already gotten to 3/4 of the way. There's nothing to stop him! They created so much space in spawn, they lost sight of the spike!
Again, an ingenious play from K-Knight, but just not quite able to bring it across the line.
8 rounds in a row. Bilibili flirted with perfection in the first half. But DRX showing that they could do, at least for now, what Bilibili could not.
This is twice now that we're thinking, could we have a perfect half? This is ridiculous from DRX.
To get so close,
oh,
you have no
nade.
shot, bro. You're so done. You're so done. If it was not the nade, it was going to be Stax. The ult comes through as well as they push their way forward. Mako with 2. Knight tried to take a step back, dancing around the Prowler, snaps onto Stacks, well handled. But the thing is, through all of that chaos, once again, the dust settles, and BLG are down in numbers, they're down in control, and they're finally down on Lotus.
This is beautiful from DRX.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's quite literally perfect.
9 rounds now in a row. A fantastic comeback. Now they are in the lead, in the driving seat too. I mentioned earlier how important it was for them to keep Bilibili off of 11. All of a sudden it's DRX with all the bank in the world, with that ability to have the same closeout, especially if they can get up to match point right now. And Bilibili is just riding this loss bonus, which means always you're gonna have a player who's low on money. Bulldog, Spectre's here. And I like this. Continue to hit this B site. This is where the least amount of presence from DRX has been.
No shot, bro. There's just no way. The ult doesn't work. Follow-up from Rin doesn't either.
And a second attempt at this site is something I like to see, given success last time. But now that they get shut down here, now that DRX again ahead of that adaptation, ahead of Bilibili. What do they choose to go for?
I mean, as soon as the door was tapped, you see RB start to take a step backwards. Realizing he's in a 1v3.
Bomb grenade out.
I mean, are they gonna challenge him much more? Yeah, he plays his life, and now Zest has shown up. Sax is not far behind either. They've gotten out onto the site, but they're gonna be able to establish enough control to get the spike down? I don't think so.
That kill back allows them the space to recover the spike though, especially with the nightfall, but Yosemite getting a little ahead of it.
And RB not giving up an inch, looking for the second. Beyond's there on the trade, but Buzz finishes it once more. DRX get to map point.
Not only map point, but 1 round away from the perfect half here on Lotus. We've only seen that sort of performance twice at a global event. And when you see it, it usually comes in a 13-0. Instead, it's a massively close game, somehow, some way. I think a lot of people maybe look back at this and think to themselves, well, it was close until it wasn't.
Yep.
But this is a comeback of the century. It's so beautiful to watch. DRX is ahead of every little step. They just need that last page from Bilibili.
And talk about forgetting about the past. They've done so masterfully. And they're now in a position where not only do they have the financial advantage, not only are they up 2 rounds, but they have so many ults they can play around too.
There.
This is what I was talking about, Bilibili really doing a great job of taking it to RB's setup so frequently. Only 1 molly broken this time. There's that smoke that allows them to threaten that they're walking in. Instead, they're going to go towards the A side. They are lining up the mollies. This is what I was talking about against Mako. He has TPs to get out of this situation, but Buzz is joining him, and he's getting really close.
He's ahead of this now. Oh my goodness, just barely spotted. The spam keeps him alive.
Oh,
You're right.
TP.
Buzz is here.
Oh.
Just barely gets away. What do they do with this pressure, though? What do they do with this space? That Nightfall's going to get so much info. But BLG throwing the Braves on the round, pausing for just a moment.
Back to the B site. Pit going begin.
Allowing the Nightfall to subside, and they drop the pit of their own. DRX does. Now they have B control. BLG, you've knocked on the first door. It doesn't open. Does the second?
Back to A, really? 14 seconds.
There's not enough time here. They've got to find success on this. The openers have to be clean. And Buzz, of course, it's Buzz who's here. And Mako with 3. The pit goes down. And so do BLG's hopes of winning this map. 4 for Mako. A 13-10 win and a ferocious comeback on Lotus for DRX.
One of the best comebacks ever.
Unreal.
How do you contend with this? If you're Bilibili, it's going to be a big question that they're handling after the break.